Well, hello. I'm hoping that everyone can see this stream. If not, I'm hoping YouTube will pick it up and make the whole thing happen. Let's hope that the internet is working right now. Having some technical difficulties, but if you can see it, welcome to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. My name is Jesse Showalter, and I am suffering a horrible case of the Tuesday technology breakdowns. So let's see if we can get this thing going. Sam Peterson says he can see me. Woohoo, Jesse. Let me know. Wave a little emoji and let me know if you can see me on the stream because it doesn't seem like it's working. So with that being said, I'm just going to hope for the best. I'm just going to get into it because we're a little bit late. But if you're new to the Daily Creative Challenge, let me know if this is your first time. Tell me where you're coming from in the chat. I want to say hello to not just Sam Peterson, but Cornell and Annie and Michelle Roberts is in the chat. Annie G says hello. I'm saying hello back. Chris, thank you for confirming that you can see that everything's going on. I appreciate that. Jenna says it's working great. So we're just going to go with it. Let's do this thing. Well, again, if you're new to the Daily Creative Challenge, they don't usually start off time. They're usually on time. But this is what you can expect when you come to the Daily Creative Challenge. Each day you're going to receive a challenge. Our challenge has unlocked today. It's entitled Crafty Masks. We're going to make a little Pinterest clone, a little craft site where you can cruise different arts and crafts. And then we're also going to use some repeat grid and some different fun features inside of Adobe XD. So you can hit get started, get the starting file I'll be working on today. But you also want to join the community, not just the chat here that I'm hoping is working due to technical difficulties, but also you want to join the Discord that has over 35,000 creatives inside of it. This is the Adobe XD Discord. We have lots of great mentors that'll be sticking around and chatting with you. You can post your work here in the current challenge tab. We're going to be taking a look at some of that work at the end of the day. We'll probably be looking at past challenges, but then tomorrow I'll be able to review your work from today. You can watch the daily show. That's right here. That's what's happening right now. You got people from Florida, people from DC, people from Illinois, people from London. This is the live show. Argentina's in the house. What's up, Mercedes from Argentina? And then finally, like we said, share your work on Behance using the hashtag XD Daily Challenge, and then also inside of that Discord channel so you can get review and feedback and critique on your work. This is the place where you hone your skills in 9 challenges. Today is day 1, and we're gonna have to get started super duper mondo fast because we're late to the party. All right, you know what it was? I was just trying to be fashionably late. That's what I was really doing. So, not really, I was actually late. So here we go. We have a starting file. This is the starting file you'll be able to download. It has a little bit about the challenge, and it should have had resources in there. Don't know what happened, but it does have some iconography on the page. That should be working just fine. We're gonna create some different versions of layout here for kind of a, let's see, a craft site. So let's make sure that I get into all my stuff, that I have all of my assets ready. We got some different assets. You'll have to go collect and gather your own assets, but I picked up some fun craft assets that we might use. Why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm just gonna bring my mouse over here and let's start designing. If you're new to Adobe XD, it's gonna be a great time. Feel free to ask any questions you want. We got people from Nottingham, UK. Sam Peterson says, yes, we are keeping people on their toes. That's exactly what we are doing. So, with that being said, why don't let's just do a really simple interface today. Let's focus on some of those key features inside of XD like repeat grid and some of the other things as well. We're gonna do masks as well for sure. We gotta do masks. So why don't we start with something really, really simple. We are not gonna do a logo. So let's just do a really cheap chintzy logo like this one. It says Crafty. What font did it naturally select for us? It selected Sophia Pro. You can see that over here in the contextual panel on the right hand side. So let's just call this thing Crafty. Let's give it a fun color, purple being a color that denotes creativity. So why don't we go with that? All right, we'll make this kind of a purpley interface. Let's put Crafty up at the top. Really, really easy. Let's zoom into this thing. I'm gonna hit E for ellipse. I'm gonna draw out a couple of ellipses. You can see we have these smart guides right here on the side, and you can get those smart guides by simply hovering over the top or the left-hand side and dragging smart guides out. You can also use a layout or a grid type of layout if you'd like to do that. But since we're behind the times today, behind on the time, we got to get cracking with this thing. I'm going to take the border off of it, fill it with a color so you can see. And then I think I am going to, why don't we, let's use a plugin, shall we? I'm gonna go find a good plugin called UI Faces, and I'm just gonna do Unsplash for a face, and we'll just pop a face inside of it. This is a plugin that's gonna go out to the web, out to any of these stock photography sites, and with my slow internet connection, for some reason, it's gonna go out and hopefully gonna grab us an avatar. If not, that's okay. We'll do something else. Oh, we found a bunch of avatars. There's one right there. So we're just gonna pop that avatar in, and now we have the beginning of our kind of like friend area. Like maybe we would share this with some friends, or we see other friends that are online. Could be any number of things, but why don't we make a repeat grid out of this thing right here? And I'm just gonna go ahead and bring myself over to the other side and get out of the way of the contextual panel there. Let's just shrink this down a little bit. I'm gonna press Command or Control R, and that's gonna bring up a repeat grid. So, and then I'm just gonna grab my little handles that are over here on the right-hand side. I'm gonna drag these across, and I'm gonna drag them across and then grab the little gap in between. I'm gonna choose how much gap I have. Let's do 15 pixels. I like the overlay because it tells me that that might be a scrollable area. In future challenges, we might actually talk about scroll groups, get a little action going on there. It'd be pretty fun. Hassan says, hi, Jesse. Hello to you, Hassan. Very excited that also Christine and Bernadette are in the house. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Now, the question becomes, can we grab all of these? Can we or can we not? Go back to our UI faces, and can we select, oh, it does. See, it says 0 out of 7 selected. Let's just randomly fill out all of them, and boom, we've filled all of them with some nice, fun, crafty faces. Why don't we just bring this down a little bit and give it a little bit of breathing room, okay? So there we go. We have some people that we can kind of slide through. And again, what's great about repeat grids, if you're not really used to these, is that when I mess with the master piece of this, it's gonna mess with all of them. Saves me a lot of time. So maybe, let's say I did want them to be a little bit big. I'm just gonna grab my whole repeat grid and make a little bit of room. If I want to stack them up that way, I can, but I don't. So I'm just gonna bring it back to be the size, and then let's work with that spacing again a little bit. Really easy like that. That's the beauty of working with the repeat grids, is that they save you lots of time. You work smarter and not harder with repeat grids. How do you open plugins? Avni says, well, let me just get out of your way, Avni, so you can see right down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have this little plug, this little Lego deal. Or you can hit Command or Control Shift P, and that opens up the plugins menu. And then you'll have your list of plugins like you do here on the side, and tapping on any one plugin would take you into that plugin's interface. That's where you can use it. And then you can switch back over to your layers or to your assets, where you can find all your components and colors and all that kind of good stuff. Speaking of components and assets and all those kinds of things, why don't we do this? Why don't we take the color that we denoted for like kind of our branding, why don't we hit plus, and now we've added that color. That means later on, if I do anything like make a rectangle, I can go ahead and fill it with the color. And if I change the color here, it changes it everywhere. Come on, working smarter, not harder. It's that kind of day. Yep, Cornell said click on the little Lego button at the bottom. That is the answer there. All right, let's start adding some content here. And now that we've done repeat grid, that's pretty cool. Let's work on some masks. Oh, some masks, shall we? I'm gonna bring out like a shape here. And if you notice, when I draw out my rectangle, I get these little corner dots here. If I just grab those, I'm gonna round my corners, give it a little corner border. Corner radius, border radius is the word that I was looking for today. And then that's pretty good. Why don't we just fill this with a color for now, okay? We're gonna work in a little wireframey stuff as we go, okay? Next thing we wanna do probably is, why don't we grab our circle, right? And let's make these avatars just a little bit smaller. What were we using? Sophia Pro? Let's go back to let's make sure we're in an asset style. We'll grab Sophia Pro, and that's our big headline. Why don't we grab this Sophia Pro, shrink it down, shrank it a little bit, and give it a little bit more of a darker color, okay? And we'll shrink it down even more, maybe something like 16. How's that look, okay? And then we're gonna grab a name. I think we should just do something like Jason Bourne, obviously Jason Bourne. That's the way to go with that name. And let's just put Jason Bourne's name right next to him right there. And we like this, but why don't we start working on a couple of these icons? For instance, like liking this or chatting about this or sharing this. Why don't we do these 3 icons right here? Let's bring them into play. And why don't we just move them over and let's just resize all of them. Okay, shall we? This one's a little bit big, this heart. Okay, and I'm gonna grab all 3 of them and I'm gonna use my distribution tools here in the top right. That's just gonna evenly distribute them. And then I'm gonna also align them using my horizontal alignment tool. Now let's shrink all of them down a little bit more. I like that, I'm into it. Why don't we grab let's do kind of a muted gray color. And you're wondering what I'm doing. I'm building a little UI component that we can reuse over and over, okay? And you're gonna see how cool this is. Oh, we might even mess with a little responsive resizing. It's gonna be fun. But first, let's have some fun with masks, shall we? We have our shape there. Why don't we just grab one of our images? I'm gonna drop it right on top of the image. See how it highlights blue like that? That means when I drop it, it's gonna go ahead and mask my image right in there for me. That looks pretty cool. And what's great about masking images, and it's gonna be great for us, is as I mess with the size of my shape, it's actually just, it's conforming the image, constraining the image inside really, really nicely for us. Let's just zoom in here. We'll do a little bit of resizing on this share icon because it's a little bit out of whack, I think. Needs to be similar. If I was gonna do some serious icon work, I'd create boxes, right? And then I'd make sure all my icons fit in those boxes so they're all the same size. It'd be really, really nice. How do I say your name? Pratibha? I probably messed up that name. I'm so sorry. But this person says, are you guys following the tutorial or just watching? What do you like to do when you learn? You like to follow along? You like to watch, soak it in, and then try to do it later? You let me know. It's interesting. Everybody has their own learning style. There's no wrong answer with that one, I don't think. Everybody just do it how you do it. All right. I actually like to listen to things and follow along. And then if I can't figure something out, then I'll tune in and actually watch it. But for the most part, I'll try to listen to it and figure out what the teacher is saying. That's just my style. That's how I roll. We're just distributing things a little bit more, making them nice like that. Okay, now we're gonna take all of these. I'm gonna group them together. Let's go back to my layers. Let's call this craft card, okay? And for some reason, I put a spell in between the C and the R. Let's call it craft card. Let's turn on our stacking, shall we? Okay, stacking means, first let me go in here real quick, because we really like, this is our group of icons, and then we have our image, and we have our title and our name and everything. It has put everything into a stack, so now we should be able to grab elements and rearrange them in our stack. For instance, this could go above that or down below, and it's gonna keep some sort of consistent spacing in our stack. Watch this. Could drop that down below like that if we want to. And now that we have it stacked, why don't we press Command or Control K? Let's make a component out of this thing. And then let's have some real fun. Check this out. We're gonna take here this image, and now we're building a masonry grid, right? We're building a masonry grid, but we have stacks on, so it's respecting the distances between those icons and the image, and we can also manipulate the size of our image, and that's gonna work out just fine for us, okay? So why don't we do another one right here? And why don't we make this image really long? And let's do another one of these right here, but why don't we make this image really short? And we'll do another shorty right underneath it, and then maybe another one of these guys right underneath there, okay? Now, we would definitely wanna mess with some more spacing and all that kind of stuff, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab all of these images right here, and why don't I just replace some images? One by one we'll do them. There's some smarter ways to do this, but let's go one by one right now. We're just gonna drag images into our masks, just like so, and we get a little bit of a masonry grid. Everybody good? Everybody liking this so far? It's pretty fun. It's pretty good times. And I think the last thing we need is we're gonna take these icons right here. We're gonna drop them into a little navigation at the bottom, shall we? Why don't we grab R for rectangle. Let's just draw a little box out for our navigation. Take the border off. Let's do a little shadow, shall we? Let's use our color. Let's open this thing back up right here. I'm gonna do this really quick. I don't wanna fill it with purple, although that could be kind of cool, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna make it a little bit more subtle and nice. But I do wanna save that to my palette down here. So let's make it white. I'm digging that. But we want our shadow to be that purple, and we want the y-axis, I always say that word wrong, axis, to go negative, right? So it goes up that way, 0 on that axis. And then we want to come into our shadow. Let's just bring it way down, and we want to blur though. Let's bring the blur back out, and we're going to tone it way down. When I do drop shadows, whether it's typography or things like this, it's always very, very subtle. Okay, and it's like usually under 10%. It's kind of a rule for me, is under 10%. Okay, now I'm gonna do my icon over here on the very left, and icon over here on the very right. I'm gonna grab all 4 of those icons, and we're going to distribute evenly. And then why don't we also open up our layers panel, grab all 4 of those icons, and let's make them a little bit more chill of a color, like the icons matching that color. Let's go back up here, save that gray. Come back down here, use that gray. And then what do we have? We have this one. Why don't we make this one the active state color? And there you have it. We've created a little bit of a, ooh, let's group all these guys together really quickly. Boom. We have a little bit of a crafty Pinterest clone with some friends and some things and a navigation inside of it. And that's it, y'all. That's how easy it is to use mass and repeat grid to do some fun stuff. Why don't we jump over to finish off our day and look at some past challenge designs, and let's talk about feedback. How do you receive feedback? How do you offer yourself up to get feedback and make sure it's really, really constructive? Well, first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your work that you do today, you're gonna post it inside the Discord and inside of, make a Behance project out of it. Again, it could be an individual project, or you can do them in one project and just keep adding to it, make it your daily creative challenge project. But let's open up a couple of challenges. For instance, let's look at this one right here. See if we can we get this to be a little bit bigger? This is a little bit of work. It's an e-commerce, I think, an e-commerce design, but I'm not really getting it. So I think my internet is having some serious problems, but let's just see what can we do to look at it from here, since my internet is doing so bad. Bernadette says, hopelessly addicted to the scroll and stack groups. I know, we're gonna get way more into it. We've got a bunch of challenges that are gonna deal with it. We're gonna dive really nitty gritty into scroll groups and stacks and all that stuff. Here we go, got a little animation working now in this thing. Can we see it? Can we see it or not see it? I don't know. There's some scrolling going on, some auto animate happening inside of XD. That's probably some component states. Made that really, really easy to do with component states. I'm sure of it. That's at least a very, very smart way to do that. I love that one. Okay, let's go and see if we can track down this this XD day 2 of the previous challenge. E-commerce. Hey, while we're waiting, if you're looking for some more resources on Adobe XD, you could head over to letsxd.com and hope that your computer loads faster than mine. Hope your browser is quicker than mine, because that is where Howard Pinsky has put tons and tons of resources for you and for I to learn from, to grow from. Pretty great stuff. Let's open this one up and see a little bit of work that was done by Manal Samir. Daily Creative Challenge. It's a sign-in screen. Really, really nice looking. I like it. It's very stylistic. The buttons have that drop shadow look to it. The only thing that I would say, if I was gonna maybe give a little critique to this one, is sign in and sign up. They should either be very different, like one of them should be a primary action, the other one should be secondary, or they should equal each other, knowing that the user is going to do this. A little UX design kind of stuff mixed in. I love the visuals. Typography, maybe think about either messing with the size so it runs on one line, or maybe keeping a solid vertical axis right here on the left-hand side throughout all of these things. A little feedback. Colors, amazing though. Stylistically, very cool. Even thought out the little hide and show of the password for decryption or encryption stuff. Really, really fun stuff. This is a fun little animation for, let's see, scrolling ice cream shop. Come on now, show me some scrolling. Ooh, love that scroll. That's so nice. And those colors, I like a little asymmetrical kind of shape going on here. I'd love to know how they did that. Maybe with scroll groups, maybe with some scroll groups. Gonna get into that. Yep, so nice. Well, I think we are getting close to the end of the day. I want to bring up a few things. Number one, make sure you join the Discord. You got to go to bit.ly/XD Discord. That's where you get into this amazing community, sign up and be a part of this challenge. And I have the wrong schedule, so I'm not going to show you the schedule, but stay tuned because there's some great content, and there's some great content that came before me every day here on Behance Live. Check out Adobe Live, check out the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge with Julia, all sorts of great things happening. Oh yeah, and also make sure, let's go back and see if it's loaded. Check out letsxd.com, where you can find lots of great stuff about repeat grids and assets and component states. You got videos and articles, all sorts of great stuff. So make sure you go to letsxd.com and learn everything you need. Thanks for joining me today. I had a lot of fun. Sorry I was late. We're going to work out the technical issues, but that is life, and that is a Tuesday. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Can't wait to see your work, and I'll be hanging out in the Discord as we go. Thanks for joining us on the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. We will see you tomorrow.